Hello everyone, my name is Ntsoaki Sibiya, ke peo ya bahlakwana, o khethwe ngosotob. I'm excited about today. Today you get to know who I am. Today you get to just have a hangout session with me. We chill, we chat. You get to know the person behind the mentor. If I could call it that, you get to know my individual journey. You get to know my roots. You get to know a bit about where all of this started for me and where it's going, right? Because everything is intentional. Everything I do is with intention. Everything I do is with purpose. And so we're not just doing this for fluff and vibes. There is actually a seed that has been planted. And I want to share that with you so that you can understand the bloom that has emerged from the work that I do. So enjoy. Okay, so who's Ntsoaki? Who's Ntsoaki beyond the titles? Who's Ntsoaki beyond the achievements? You know, um, Ntsoaki is a soul that is anchored, a soul that is centered, that is sourced in God. I am an individual who is deeply rooted. I am grounded, anchored in my roots, in my heritage. Ke peo ya bahlakwana. I am someone who is very confident, very bold, very convicted, very self-assured. Someone whose energy and spirit brings light in any environment and any space that I enter into. So my presence, my spirit just brings light into those spaces. I would say that's who Ntsoaki is. Are we doing this again too? I always ask myself, people who have kids that look exactly like them, like, how is that? Because not my daughters don't even look like me. And sometimes I go to my kids' school and I'm like, yo, you look like your mom, you look like your dad. But yeah, I don't have that. I like that question. My childhood was very warm. It was a very, when I think of my family, when I think of my upbringing, it just brings me joy. It's just laughter, joy, and very fulfilling. I was somebody who I mentioned very bold. I grew up being somebody who's very bold, somebody whose energy filled the room before I even knew what presence was. And I come from a background that embraced that celebrated that, in fact, that encouraged that. So being bold, being loud, being too much was very acceptable and accepted in my family, in my upbringing. So I was raised by my mom, my moms, my dad, and my grandmother. So our family dynamic is that of a polygamous household or family, if you'd call it that. So I come from that family dynamic. And so it was always filled with love. It was always filled with busyness, man, chatting. My brothers and I, my siblings and I are people who are quite vocal and who love to speak boldly in terms of what it is that we want to do, what are our aspirations, what are the things that we want to achieve in our lives. And so our environment created a space for that. Our upbringing created a space for that. So we were very fluent in just expressing ourselves and things that we wanted to be and how we imagined our lives unfolding and evolving. And so when I think of my childhood, I think it created a space for leadership for me. It created a space for for strong work ethic, watching my parents model that. My late father was an entrepreneur. My mother, she was a professional teacher, or her profession rather was in teaching, but she had multiple ventures. And my grandmother, being an entrepreneur, selling and sewing garments for church, that gave me or gave us or created an environment where we saw leadership, entrepreneurship, and strong work ethic being modeled to us. And so it shaped how we show up today. It shaped the level of excellence in which we show up in today. If there's one thing I remember about my late father, and something that he taught me was precision. Anything that you do, he would always comment on the finishing. What does your finishing look like? And that taught me precision. And so, when you grow up in such an environment, I mean, it molds you into somebody who is very intentional about how you show up, very precise in how you show up, and you always want to benchmark yourself with a certain level of excellence. And that's the type of background that I come from. That is what has shaped me today, that has shaped my journey today, that has shaped the woman that I am today. Sure. What are the three words that describe me and why? I think the and why part is a tricky one. But if I had to describe myself in three words, I would say leader. I would say an activator or activator. I would say focused. So leader, activator, focused. And all of these words have synergy, in terms of my character and how I show up in the world and how I've mastered myself, Leader, because I certainly believe that I was born to lead. I was born to be somebody who is of leadership, who is of influence, who is influential in the work that she does. And that is why mentorship is so up my alley. Um, and activator, because I'm a catalyst. As somebody who identifies themselves as being a seed, when you plant a seed, that is a seed of purpose, and you are activating the roots, you are activating a bloom, right? And so when it comes to how I navigate life, how I navigate being a mentor, how I mentor, I'm always very intentional about planting a seed and ensuring that it is rooted in strong characters and values, so that the bloom that is going to come from that is going to spark and activate clarity and structure for any mentee that I'm working with, or anything that I touch. And that's why activator. And the last one I mentioned was that focus, very focused. My focus is unmatched. Oh, that is my superpower. My focus is unmatched. And that has allowed for me to be very disciplined in everything that I do, be very structured in everything that I do, and be very clear about what the North Star is for me. Because if you're focused and you have a target and you have clarity on that North Star, no matter what obstacles may come up along the way or what detours you may take, that North Star is always clear. And for me, that has been my focus element. And so these three elements put together for me really bring forth that alignment and that mastery of my journey, my purpose, my path, and everything that I do. What do you think of that?
That was bomb. That was bomb. That was bomb.
There. I'm strategically actually even promoting the masterclass I'm doing, because that analogy is centered a lot around positioning, packaging, and so forth. Um, what inspired me to start my journey as a mentor to women entrepreneurs? When I think back on my life's journey and when I think back on my younger self, I would say that mentorship is always something that reared its head. you know, I was always a mentor of some sort to someone within the family, whether amongst my peers, etc. And what I enjoyed doing, because I am an activator, because I am an achiever, because I am focused, I participated in sports. And I always made sure that I excelled at sports. I excelled at anything that I did where sports was concerned. And I found it so fulfilling when I was good at a certain craft or sports to teach somebody how to do that. Because I know that being in that position, I mentioned leadership, being in a position of influence, being in a position of inspiring your peers. Others would always want to know, how do you do this? How do I become better at this? And so I would mentor them. I would show them, this is how you become better at what it is that you do, or this is how you refine this craft. That is mentorship. And then as I grew, older, getting into entrepreneurship, starting my own business, I realized when I started my security business that my passion didn't necessarily lie in security and risk management. My passion in that environment was creating an empowering environment for the women guards that I started with, the security guards that I started with, empowering them to actually upskill themselves so that they can run with it. They are the professionals in security. They are passionate about risk management. For me, it was about creating that empowering environment. And when I started paying attention to this pattern, paying attention to pattern recognition, very important. And when I started paying attention to this pattern, it made me realize that I actually find fulfillment in mentoring and being a mentor. I actually find the greatest fulfillment in that. And as I then started being part of platforms such as Lionesses of Africa and meeting women entrepreneurs and engaging with entrepreneurs, I found that a lot of women who start businesses wouldn't have confidence and conviction in what it is that they are doing. When they have to stand up and present their business, you'll find that there was still this level of doubt in themselves, within themselves, and in what they are doing. And that is such a growth gap in entrepreneurship. It is very important for you to enter into the entrepreneurial space, landscape, ecosystem with a level of clarity, confidence, and conviction. And I think, well, I mean, just doing research for myself and just observing the pattern with women, I then thought to myself that perhaps it's because we come from a background, not just previously disadvantaged, but a background where women were not starting and operating businesses. And so that confidence element is because we come from backgrounds that didn't teach us how to be entrepreneurs. I mean, I had the privilege of being taught that because I come from that environment, but not everybody comes from that environment. And so that somehow it influences or it affects your confidence, self-efficacy, and so I wanted to then address that because I strongly believe that women are the catalysts for um, growing our economy, and I wanted to then work in the space where I am economically empowering women within their businesses and to start businesses. And that is really where my journey began as an entrepreneur, where my journey began as somebody who said, I want to specialize in this and I actually want to help and guide women who are entrepreneurs? So I like that question, and maybe you could use it with the BTS whatnots. I like that question. You know what? Tapping into focus for me happens naturally. I think it's an not. I think, in fact, I am very certain. It's an innate ability. It's talent for me. It's a natural talent, and I've just learned to hone it. Pay attention to what your strengths are. Pay attention to what those strengths are and then create an ecosystem around those strengths. So focus for me is a strength. And hence I say it's unmatched because it's a strength. And so I've then developed and created an ecosystem around that. And so when I am tapping into it, when I am being intentional about it, it's because I know that it's something that comes naturally for me. I'm not trying hard when it comes to being focused, when it comes to be disciplined. Sports has also played quite a huge role in honing that discipline, in honing that focus in me. Because when you are a sportsman, a sportswoman, there's a level of discipline that you need to have to elevate yourself in your craft, to elevate yourself in the sports that you're doing. And it doesn't happen by being lazy. It does not happen by just this today I feel like it, tomorrow I don't feel like it. There is a level of discipline and focus and drive that you need to have. And so I've been able to cultivate those in me and hone those skills in me with daily practice for years because I participated in sports. And so I just now take that model or those principles and I repeat it in the work that I do now as an entrepreneur, as somebody who shows up as a leader, as somebody who is influential, as somebody who is meant to, be a role model to women that I am mentoring. I wanted to answer that properly so that if you want to use it, yeah. I like that, but I also want to answer that. Self-actualized leadership. So I am influenced by the School of Maslow when it comes to self-actualized leadership. And he defines it as self-actualized leadership is discovering what it is that you are meant to do and pursuing that with ardor. Now, ardor is not pursuing something with fluff or with shallowness. It means pursuing with excellence, pursuing with depth, pursuing with substance. Uncover and discover what it is that you're supposed to do. And you can't do that if you're not somebody who's willing to excavate. You need to excavate yourself. You need to do the deep work that uncovers for you what is it that I am meant to do. And then once you understand what it is that you are meant to do, you then pursue that with excellence. So I love that question about self-actualized leadership. Also something I learned years ago. But all these things, I may have learned them years ago. Some of them didn't land at the time. As we embark on this journey of adulting, of lifing, these things, the message really unfolds for you. And that's where personal mastery comes in. A lot of times I think we think that personal mastery is in the books that we are reading. And it's not necessarily in the books that you are reading. It is going through the journey that's going to make you understand what is in the books that you are reading. And people will get frustrated that they are not getting their breakthroughs. They go to books to try and find answers from books. You need to go through the journey. Go through the journey in pursuit of personal mastery as you grow in your purpose, as you grow on purpose. And what is in those books will start to make sense because those books now give you a vocabulary to express, to understand what it is that you are going through. So you're not going to find mastery in a book. You need to go on that journey. How was that? I do. I've heard of Robin Banks. So his book, I'm currently doing a 6-month reading thingamabob for myself, especially because I want to do a lot of soul work. So currently I'm reading Gary Zukav called The Seat of the Soul, and Robin Banks is on my third reading list because it's a book that speaks about unleashing the giant within or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I've never read his books though, but I'm about to. Shoo. And I think I've kind of covered that, right? And what I said previously. I want to see if I could expand on it in terms of personal mastery in becoming a great leader. So personal, and perhaps you could then expand on what I had said about going on the journey, what personal mastery is and means. But the role of personal mastery in becoming a great leader. You know, when I think of the principles that I apply where mastery is concerned, where personal mastery is concerned, there's 7 principles that I apply. It's a personal vision, right? As a leader, you need to have a vision for yourself, a vision for your life, a vision for where it is that you want to go. Personal vision, personal purpose. What is the purpose? Because purpose is the seed. What is your purpose? It answers the why of why you're doing what you are doing. Personal awareness. I spoke about excavating, doing the deep work, the work that you need to do in order to fulfill this journey that you are embarking on or this journey that you are on. Personal awareness. It helps you to also just uncover for yourself what are your triggers? What are your drivers? What are your blind spots? What are your strengths? Personal awareness, very important. Personal transformation. What is the transformation that you want to see for yourself, for your life? Personal values. Oftentimes, as we grow, we forget our values and we are adopting values. We are adopting values in our industries. We are adopting values on the street. But what are your values? What have you actually sat down to think about what your values are? What are your values? Personal perception. What is the perception that you have of yourself? Because the perception that you have of yourself is going to translate or reflect in how you show up for yourself, how you show up for your talents. What is the personal perception that you have of yourself? What number are we on? We are on number 6. So I said personal vision, personal purpose, personal awareness, personal transformation, personal perception, personal value. Which one is it that I'm missing? There's one more I'm missing. Personal alignment. Personal alignment. Because once you can unpack and answer all these things for yourself, they give you clarity. And what does clarity do? It helps you to align. That North Star. When you are clear and you are in alignment, you are able to navigate all the winds that come with life, all the challenges, etc., all the detours, all lifing. But when you are aligned, it brings about that clarity of the journey that you are on. So for me, as a leader and to help yourself, to help yourself to become a better leader, think about those principles, think about what they mean for you, because that's what has helped me to become a better leader in the work that I do and just generally for the people in my life, for the people that I am gifted with in my life. How do I practice self mastery in my own life? I think for me it's it's governance, hey, self governance. You govern yourself, guys. We are so it's so easy for us to try and control and govern everything that is happening around us instead of self. And for me, I have learned to govern myself, to lead myself first before I try and control and govern and lead everything outside of me. And by doing this, it has really, really allowed me a space to be able to center myself and ground myself, to never lead from a place of ego, because your egoic patterns and um, we've got toxic traits as human beings. I mean, we're not perfect, right? And so personal mastery really allows you to be aware of yourself, be aware of these things, be aware when ego is taking over, when ego is driving the decisions that you are making, so I think that's how it's played a role in my life, personal mastery, and how I've been able to just be able to have moments of stillness, quietude, contemplation, and just centering myself, anchoring myself, grounding myself spiritually. Cheers to that. I'm not going to mention that, Marlon.
You said obviously the heavy thing, but I just wanted to really like to that as well.
No, I do not want to mention pageants.
Okay.
I give them too much airway. Those ones.
Promo cinema.
Oh, what? No, 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 no. I think I am, and for me, ask that question again. All right, and I love that. The question: what has been the most rewarding moment in my mentorship um, journey or as a mentor? I think of the entrepreneurs that I meet in the mentorship club. The entrepreneurs that I've met in the mentorship club, entrepreneurs who are striving in becoming better at what it is that they do as individuals, for their personal development, for their entrepreneurial development. And for me, I've found a sense of fulfillment in taking someone from stuck, where they feel like they are stuck in terms of their thinking, in terms of clarity, in terms of the transformation that they want for themselves, and just unlocking, it's just unlocking that potential in them, unlocking that door that seems to be stuck and it's not moving, for them. And what I've found is that, when you take people from the day-to-day business and just being overwhelmed by that, and you bring them into a space where they need to become more aware of the human being running the business, you know understanding that you are human, you are fallible, and so you need to work on yourself, and taking them just to basics, back to basics. Who are you? What has been the making of you? What has shaped you? Where are you headed, and why? I've found so much reward and fulfillment in hearing people's stories, because it's the story, the experiences they come from, that shape who they are as entrepreneurs today. And once they understand that, and they are able to take ownership of that journey, of their experiences, and see the patterns, they begin to then show up better as business owners. They begin to show up more intentionally and understanding what their strengths are, what their talents. They don't need to be another version of Ntsoaki. They understand that I need to be myself. I need to infuse my personality, my character into this business and watch it grow. So you're not trying so hard. It becomes more effortless for you as a business owner. So for me, I've found great reward and fulfillment in that, in taking somebody and saying, take a step back. Let's look at the human being who's actually running this business before we get to the technical aspects and elements and factors of the business that are now going to make us profitable and scalable, etc. Let's scale you as the human being. Let's refine you. Let's define you as the human being. And then that is automatically going to translate into your business. I love that. I love that. I love that. Besides the teaching you about business models and the basic concepts of running a business and just structuring a business. I love tapping into the human being and speaking to the human being who's actually running the business. I hope that made sense, and I hope that card did not. There's so many. You want me to pick one? It's like telling me to pick my kid. You want me to pick one?
I know that one is shaky.
That's Mo. Azania Essentials.
Yeah, Azania Essentials. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
You keep smelling it there, by the way.
Because I'm like, she has beauty products.
It's not beauty products. It's home care. I mean, diffusers, and that diffuser blowing up steam there is Azania Essential. The spray, the linen spray there is Azania Essentials. If you look to the right, there's candles, Azania Essential. There's so you can see that Azania Essentials just fills my home.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, these are part of these are part of the entrepreneurs I've really watched grow within the mentorship club, grow as individuals, and they make me so proud. When I first met Mo, or when I first engaged and had a personal encounter with her, she was so shy. She was so soft spoken, so shy. And I remember actually asking her, Queen, are you shy or do you have social anxiety? you know, because expressing herself, she's one of those people. And when I speak about taking your own personal story and walking your journey through and looking at, I really truly believe that messages from God, messages from the universe, messages, there's an epiphany that comes from everything. Your entire journey, your entire experience, your entire being is meant to serve the gift that you have, is meant to serve the business that you have. I even deep it to the point of saying my height, the fact that I am tall, the tone of my voice, which used to make me very uncomfortable in high school because oftentimes I was told I sound like a boy. But hey, you know, um, it used to make me very uncomfortable. But as I've grown into it and as I've realized I've got a voice of authority, a very commanding voice, a commanding presence, everything about me, my personality traits, everything was created for me to show up as the mentor that I am, to show up as an entrepreneur mentor, to show up as an enterprise development strategist. And so when I watch the growth of the women entrepreneurs in the mentorship club, and those that I've had personal encounters with, those that I have mentored even on a one-on-one basis, and we've taken a step back to look at the individual behind the business, that is literally where the breakthrough comes in for me. For them and for me, that is where the the testimony of their journeys comes through. And once they start owning that, once they start owning the person and the stories of this person behind the business, yo, guys, the magic. The magic. Then you find your Mo's being confident and convicted enough to say, I am going to participate in Decorex. I'm going to. The woman that I met on day one, she was not about such things. No, I'm just in the background. I just make the stuff and then then no, not today. Not in this day. Watch the things that they are doing, and it gives me such fulfillment. And not to say that I'm the hero in their story. No, they are the heroes in their own stories. I was just the guide to unlock that. I was just the guide to give clarity, to give structure in how you are navigating this journey and how you are bringing the essence of who you are into this journey. I hope that answers the question.
Perfect.
I hope it does. And you need to. Guys, do you know that I really, and you can use this if you want to as a BTS. Do you know that I really, and you, because you are young, you must think about it. Do you know that I really, really do sit and contemplate, why am I tall? Why do I speak the way I speak? Why do I have big eyes? Why do I have such a magnetic smile? Do you know that I actually sit down and think about these things and think about how these elements contribute to my personality? Because remember, the personality is here to serve the energy of your soul. Because we can't see the soul, the personality is the bloom of the soul. And so when you think about these things about yourself, why am I tall? Why do I have this energy? Why do I have big eyes? Why do I have a magnetic smile? Why do I have a voice of authority? Why does the tone of my voice sound this way? When you start thinking about, you start realizing the things that make you different and the things that contribute to your value proposition in the work that you are doing or in the business that you are running. You'll thank me later. Think about it. You will thank me later, and you will give me feedback on what you've uncovered about yourself. What have you noticed and picked up about yourself? And you know what? Whether you're tall, whether you're short, there is a reason, there is a purpose for it. You'll thank me later. Think about it. What? You'll thank me later. Think about why do you look so colored? Why do you look? It contributes to something. Why do you look like you're a Black American brother? 100%. And it forms in alignment. I love that you use those words. It forms in alignment with who and what you are meant to do. Self-actualized. Yo, guys, bars and gems that are coming from you guys. You'll thank me later. You come and have a sit down with me. Come have some coffee with me. Have some tea. Have some whatever. You know what I mean? Let's have a
Let's have a podcast.
Marlon.
Let's have a podcast.
My husband's
Internship.
you know, it was a prophecy for him to say, babe, I believe in your voice. Have a podcast. Let's have a mentorship and mastery podcast, right? What legacy do I want to leave behind for women in business? That is such a deep question. And it's deep for me, hey? I think I would want to leave a legacy of inspiration, a legacy of yo. And I'm kind of struggling to articulate it, to find the vocabulary for it, because I mentioned that, the work that I do, I never want to position myself as being the hero of your story, as the mentee, or as the entrepreneur, or as the woman in business, however you um, identify yourself, and I never want to position myself as the hero, because I am the guide in your journey. And so the legacy that I do want to leave for women entrepreneurs is that of, I once had a guide, somebody who inspired me to do better, to build with intention, to build with purpose, to build with mastery. And that is the legacy that I want to leave. That is how I want to impact people's lives, or women's lives, through mentorship. I want to leave that legacy of, she cultivated excellence within me, and this is why I am the entrepreneur and businesswoman that I am today. That is the legacy. That is the legacy that I want to leave in women. Oh man,
Okay.
that was the tricky one. Okay,
She's a human.
so you mustn't crop out the parts where I'm like, yo,
Maybe
where
we'll
I
put
am
it at the
laughing.
back here.
And Bob, you heard me say, where's Spice?
Spice is editing.
Damn it.
He's
'Cause
actually working on your ask.
he needs to be the one who's, when I step into a room,
Spice, I hope you're listening though.
yeah, Spice, this one's for you. When I step into a room and I crack a smile, I'm cracking a smile with intention at the right time. Don't chop it and cut it out of the video and then show me here when I'm already here. No. The smile must come because it's an asset of the brand. That's crazy, right?
No, we're doing it. Everything is with
It's
intention.
crazy. Like, I don't walk in just smiling. No. It comes in with the energy, with the presence, and then the smile comes at the right time. I read that in a book, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. I read a lot, guys.
Nah, it's evident.
I am, yeah. I'm hectic. I'm gonna I love this work. There's a book called Deep Work here. And what deep work has taught me is having substance. I gravitate towards brands and people who have substance and depth. And I've learned that I gravitate towards the people whose energy speaks to mine. So because I am somebody who values and appreciates and has reverence for value and substance and depth, I will naturally gravitate towards people and brands that exude that. I want that as a 30-second reel. I want that.
Perfect. That you will make sure it's.
So Marlon asked me what's my love language. I get it, this is the fun part. So Marlon asked me, what's my love language? And I mean, I'm purely basing this on the five love languages. The book called The Five Love Languages. My love language is acts of service. It really is. And funny enough, at the mentorship meetup, Hetty mentions the same thing, that, yo, Queen, when they talk about servant leadership, you've got a heart of service. And for me, it comes effortlessly. Effortlessly, acts of service. So that is how I show love. And it would make sense, as a mentor. it would make sense as a mentor, because you're here to serve with heart and love. Serve the next person who really needs your guidance, who really needs clarity, who really needs direction, in terms of, how have you navigated this path? What are the options that I could explore? And so using my love language to serve in this gift of mentorship. Oh, that and these are the things that fulfill me. These are the things that speak to me. These are the things that bring joy to me. And then a person doesn't understand, hore, the energy it takes, but it's the energy I was meant for and made for. I hope that wasn't too ratchet of an answer. Like the energy wasn't too, but yeah, right? So yeah, that is definitely my love language. And I used to struggle with. You can add it or you don't, because I don't want to drive the narrative of my marriage. But anyway, when you start talking about things, and the next interview you have is like, you said. So now you must drive that narrative. But I used to struggle with it with my partner, because his love language is physical touch. Yeah. Me, I want to come downstairs and act and serve you, and whether you just want to cuddle and ooh, I struggled with it. I've had to learn. With the other love languages, and meet people where they are and not constantly think that my love language is important to them. But I think my love language is important to the work that I do. Because, I mean, you're not going to come here as a mentee and say you want to be cuddled, right? You're not going to come here and say, So it is befitting to the work that I do. It is an alignment to the work that I do. The love language that I have is an alignment with the work that I do. And I repeated that on purpose so that you can take it as a snippet, spice, and put it in somewhere, that the work that I do is in alignment with my love language, acts of service. Fun fact about me that people don't know. Let's see, what is a fun fact about me that people don't? I talk so much and I'm so open. People know everything about me. I think. People know everything about. You think that's a fun fact? No. No, they don't know that. It's not something, but that's not a fun fact about me. You think it's a fun? No, that's mentorship. That's a mentorship fact. That's not a fun fact. Let me think about fun facts about me. Um, Fun fact. You would have to ask my family about fun facts. A talent that people don't know. Fun fact. I've got a fun fact. I've got a fun fact. So I don't know how to sing well, right? But I love to start choruses. I love to start chorus, a church chorus, whether it's at a funeral, whether it's if we're about to pray and I'm the girl who starts the chorus. But I wouldn't say that I am gifted in singing, but I love to start chorus. I'm that girl. And then whoever's good at taking over. Well, I said I'm a catalyst. A catalyst is somebody who creates momentum, who starts things, gets things going. Activator. That is me. So that's a fun fact about me. Because of my activator personality, I love to kickstart, and I will start it. I will break into song. And I gospel. I love gospel, hey? Oh my gosh, that's a fun fact. Oh, I love that question. I love, why must there be a why? But anyway, the why makes it so deep. If I were to have dinner with 3 female leaders, who would they be? I would love to have dinner with Oprah Winfrey. I would love to have dinner with Basitsana Kumalo. I would love to have dinner with Fun fact. I've got another fun fact with Kanye Dlomo. So my daughter's name is Kanye Sile, because I admired Kanye Sile Domo when I was growing up, you know. I used to watch her. And it makes sense why I admired women such as Kanye Dlomo, Basitsana Kumalo, Oprah Winfrey, because I carry that energy, you know. And so my daughter's name is Kanye because I loved Kanye Dlomo. My son's name is Ndalo because she had Ndalo Media, but my husband would argue different because the full name is Ubuhle Bendalo. But I agreed to that because I was like, boom, you know, it speaks to the one of the women I admired growing up. Simply because I admire these women, they are women of influence, and they are women whose energy I gravitate towards. And I love that because I think that speaks a lot to the type of person I am and to the energy of my soul as well. So Oprah Winfrey, Basitsana Kumalo, and Kanye Dlomo. If I were to add a bonus, it would be Dr. Precious Motsepe. I mean, you can see, yo, I love women of significance, women of substance. I admire such women. So those are the women that I would want to have dinner with and just sit at a table and exchange energy and just to soak into that wisdom as well. Love that. But it became serious. But okay.
Okay.
My hobbies are, you know, I think about those notebooks we used to write growing up, you know, name, surname, hobbies, favorite songs, sort of. So it's giving me that vibes. But my hobbies are hiking. I love going hiking. My hobbies are reading. Oh my goodness. I read too much. I love reading. My hobbies are reading, and my hobbies are gym. Again, you see the pattern, right? These are things that speak to character, discipline, mastery. I mean, going hiking is about centering myself. I used to love going hiking with my husband, um, but I found that going hiking with him was a competitive sport because he was just be go, let's run, let's and it was great, you know, because it gave time to see our types of characters within our marriage and relationship, etc. But I then went on a solo hike and it slapped different. And since then, I was like, I am not doing this go with you. Um, I want to go on hikes on my own. So even if we do go to the same hiking trail, I will take my own route because I find moments of solitude very, very calming, very they center me. They center me spiritually. They allow me space to just reflect, to think, and just to connect. To connect to the soul of the earth, to connect to God, to connect to Holy Spirit, you know. And so I love going on hiking. I find that it centers me, it grounds me, it anchors me. And then gym is for my mental well-being as well, mental fitness. It just brings out that drive and discipline and wanting to do better and be better as a human being. So there it's just about how do I become better? How do I become a better me? And it serves me well in that. I love those hobbies. Reading, obviously that is about just expanding your knowledge base as a human being, just knowing how other people think. You know, I have a lot of authors that influence my school of thought. Reading has helped me articulate myself better. It has helped me find vocabulary in instances where I was unable to explain clearly and concisely what I am feeling, what I'm going through, etc. And so it's helped me in that sense. So reading, hiking, and gym, hobbies of mine. Fun fact.
Okay.
I love this. I love being on camera. Is that a hobby? That could be a hobby, right? I love being on camera. I love this. This is me.
Your natural, yeah.
It,
Your
this is
natural habitat.
this is my natural habitat. This is me. Fun fact.
Okay.
Yeah. What's next for Ntsoaki Sibiya? Projects and work that you could look forward to. I am having an upcoming masterclass that I'm very excited about. It's an in-person masterclass. So I am excited to meet everyone. The masterclass is on the blueprint of packaging, positioning, and communicating your value with ease. Oh, you're going to love it. You are going to love the gems that are going to come from there. I am looking forward to that. And then, of course, the mentorship club. Ah, my baby. And then the mentorship club. I mean, you can always expect to see me doing work within the mentorship club. And with the mentorship club, just growing the club. I mean, our mentorship club is really about refining your capabilities as an entrepreneur. It's really about expanding your business perspective, your business acumen, so that you're able to confidently position yourself in your area of expertise. So I'm looking forward to the growth of the mentorship club and just to taking the mentorship club to greater heights. So those are the projects that are upcoming. Other spaces that you can find me in or expect to see me in are speaking engagements. I've got certain corporate speaking engagements that are coming up. Some are not necessarily corporate, others are for the public, events that I'm invited to speak at. Come, let's meet. Let's come and meet my energy. I think it's an energy that inspires. I spoke in the beginning about, my presence, my energy, my spirit brings light into every space and environment. And so I love, love meeting people in person because for me, this energy that I'm giving you right now is the energy that you are going to receive, an energy of warmth, love, and just authenticity. I love laughing. I'm very loud. I am very loud. And yeah, those are some of the things that you can expect from me coming up. Advice that I would give to a young woman who is starting their entrepreneurial journey is strongly consider mentorship. I mean, mentorship is the key strategy to your entrepreneurial growth, to you scaling, to you building with um, with structure, with clarity, with an intention, and with sustainability. So I would really advise any entrepreneur, whether you're a woman, whether you are male, when you start a business, have a mentor, have a coach, have a sponsor, and those are just bonuses that I'm adding into that. And it's not an either or equation. You want to have all three. You want to have a mentor, you want to have a coach, you want to have a sponsor, somebody who's advocating for you in the rooms that you are not yet in. And that is a key strategy for any growth, for any sustainable growth, and it holds you accountable as well to what you are building. It holds you accountable to what you are building. So you want to have these people who form part of the key partners that you have in your circle of or your network. All right. I speak about a circle of advisory. I speak about a mastermind circle. I speak on, but this is a sisterhood that you create for yourself as an entrepreneur, as you build to grow and find those people who are going to keep you accountable to that growth. People who are going to see the bigger picture. Sometimes your mentor is not necessarily going to give you the answers, or it's not someone you're going to outsource your thinking to, but also building an advisory board, a network of women that you could bounce ideas off, right? A network of women who are able to see the bigger picture and remove themselves from the emotions of the day to day of running that business. Because you are in the day to day, you tend to be very emotional in that. And so when you have a system, an ecosystem around you that is able to see the bigger picture and hold you accountable and able to sharpen your character and competency in the work that you are doing, that is a game changer. And that is the advice that I would give any entrepreneur or woman who wants to start this entrepreneurial journey. Get mentorship. So, how can people connect with me? You can connect with me on Instagram. That is my primary social media platform. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I am on TikTok. I've just explored TikTok. I've just explored TikTok. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, you can get a hold of me on TikTok. Otherwise, you can send me an email, my team an email on info@ntsoakisibiya.co.za. Let's connect. I love having conversations with people. I love engaging. I love getting to know you. I love, that I get a thrill. It energizes me, to meet people, hear their stories, understand their entrepreneurial journeys, understand where they are at, what space they are at, and then just guiding you through that. I think if you are looking for somebody who is going to give you that strategic guidance, if you are looking for somebody who's going to create that space for you to be open in where you are as an entrepreneur, you don't need to perform for me. You don't need to paint a picture that is bigger than it actually is. You know, I love to connect with you from seed form. So if you're looking for somebody who's going to create that space for you and who's going to guide you step by step in the process that you should be taking in your journey, then do connect with me. It's not a blanket approach for everyone. Every entrepreneur is different. Every mentee I deal with is different. It is not a one size fits all um, um, relationship that we are going to have. And so let's have a conversation, reach out, send a message. I'm here for you. I am here for you. Connect with me, and I look forward. Honestly, I look forward to just meeting with you and connecting with you and getting to know you. My name is Ntsoaki Sibiya, Kipeu Yabahlakwana, and your strategic guide to intentional mentorship and mastery. Did you see? Did you see how that smile came at the right time? Did you see how that smile came at the right time?
Pew. Okay.
Y'all must stop. Y'all must stop just making me smile in the middle of nowhere in my videos. Stop it. Yep, time flies. So it's a wrap. My journey is more than just business. My journey is about planting, it's about nurturing, it's about growing you. It's really about unlocking the leader in every woman that I meet and every woman whom I encounter. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope this was valuable for you. So if you would like to follow along, I share daily insights and lessons on my platforms. So if you're looking to take the next step, whether it's calling me in to equip your team or whether you'd like to have a mentorship journey with me, let's connect. So let's grow together. Follow my journey online, Book me for your next event and let's create impact together.